behalf of the entire staff of Beech Motor Speedway and the Cusack family, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Maine's oldest continually operating family-owned speedway. My name is Bruce Eldy, your race commentator. And tonight, it's the Memorial Day Classic here at Beech Motor Speedway, sponsored by the Mayetta Foundation Company, located on the Pleasant Hill Road here in Scarborough. Only 12 to qualify. The rest will have to come back and try to do it in a consolation event. Assistant starter Junior Niles on the flag stand gives the all clear as the drivers glance across from the backstretch. Pace car makes its way onto the infield pit road, looking for a green at turn 4 is Junior Niles. Green is out. Gary Adams from the outside, racing to turn 1. Back on the inside, the 69, Richard Olin draws it even out of turn 2 down the backstretch. They're neck and neck looking to turn 3. Adams takes over at turn 3. Olin's not going to give it up easy, and he's right back in turn 4. Bringing him down for lap 1, Adams from the outside. Remember now, only 12 cars to qualify for the main event, and all of these drivers want to be among that top 12. Very competitive limited sportsman division here at Beech Motor Speedway. Gary Adams, young man from Limington, stretching out now a 3 to 4 car length lead over Richard Olin. Olin is followed by Steve Winslow in the 10. Veteran Gene Theriault in the 41. Ed Strong in the 104 as the top 5 break away from the next group of cars. 12th place at the moment appears to be the number 68 of Chuck Gaines. Always a battle in this limited sportsman division for a qualifying position. Comfortable lead by Gary Adams in the number 74. Battle now for second place. Richard Olin with a lot of pressure by Steve Winslow. Winslow gets the bid on the inside. Side by side down the backstretch. Winslow trying to take over that second spot, and he does at turn 3. Gene Theriault trying to follow him up the inside as they have Olin hung on the outside. Last qualified car appears to be the 88 of Mike Field at the moment. Cars begin to stretch out. Steve Winslow solidly has command of the second qualifying position. Lightning indicates next time around it will be the halfway point of tonight's 15-lap qualifier. 8 down and 7 to go as Gary Adams is running away with the first qualifying event of the evening. Gary Adams, always a hard charger this year, having the distinction of the best-looking limited sportsman coming out of the Maine Mall show this spring. Cars racing 3 wide out of the 2-turn. Rick Barrow up high, losing some ground to Dave Field in the 84. As he improves, gets sideways now in the 2-turn. Barabee sideways also. 2 cars. Loop it coming out of turn 2. Flagman waiting to see if they can get underway. And the caution comes out before those cars are able to clear the track there at turn 2, and we will be at a restart condition here for the first time in this first qualifying event of the evening. 10 laps down, 5 to go in this first qualifying event of the evening. 12 cars to qualify. Junior Niles gives the drivers the all clear as they glance over to the flag stand, looking for a start at turn 4. Gary Adams, no longer with that comfortable lead, has to draw it even this time with Steve Winslow to his outside in the number 10. Flagman asked them to pick it up just a little bit. Slow start. Rolling to turn for the green is out. Adams jumps right into a quick lead. Winslow tucks it right down on the inside. The battle shaping up for third. Terrio to the inside, Olin to the outside. Then comes Ed Strong in the 104. Don Tapley on the move in the number 15. Chuck Haynes trying to find room on the inside. He's momentarily boxed in. Rick Verrill also looking for room on the inside. Last qualifier appears to be the 63 at the moment. 63 is driven by Al Roberts. He's your last qualified car for the main event at the present time. Chuck Haynes gets out of shape, takes it in over the speed bumps. Does a nice job of holding the car. Tangle in the 1 and 2 turn. Donnie Whitten gets the car turned about. Rookie in the number 83 tries to refire the car, and he does. Just 2 laps to go. Tough break for the youngster in the number 83 as he was looking to try to salvage a qualifying position in this heat. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Continues to be Gary Adams, Steve Winslow, Gene Terrio, Richard Olin, and Ed Strong. 104, your top 5. Checkered flag in the air as Gary Adams captures the first qualifying heat of the evening. As Gary Adams coasts down to the start-finish line, let's have a nice round of applause for the winner of heat number 1, the Limited Sportsman Division, Gary Adams. Flagman Eddie Walsh on the stand for the first qualifier for the Super Sportsman gives the drivers the all clear as they work the pace lap to turns 3 and 4. Looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Dead heat at the line. They race into the 1 turn side by side. Johnson to the inside, Manitoul to the outside, still side by side down the backstretch. Young Russ Johnson trying to hang on to that lead spot over Spike Manitoul in the 69, the 89. The 69 a little bit out of shape, does a nice job of collecting it up. Cars stacked up 2 abreast now through the top 4 positions. Spike Manitoul still trying to make his way out and around. Russ Johnson has not been able to draw it even again yet. Russ Johnson up from the Limited Sportsman Division. Spike Manitoul, former modified competitor here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, deciding to give the new Super Sportsman Division a try. So he's a youngster that's used to high-powered racing equipment. Many of the teams having difficulty finding the combination in this all-new division. Doug Shores gets the car sideways down the backstretch, has to back out of it, take it to the inside. 3-way battle now for the front as Tim Maloney gets into the fray, working up, trying to make it a 3-way battle for the front. They'll be approaching the halfway mark, says Flagman Eddie Walsh. Next time by, it'll be 5 down, 5 to go. Spike Manitoul puts a fender ahead. Johnson gets out of shape in the 4 turn, loses the lead to Spike Manitoul. New leader, Spike Manitoul out of Scarborough, Maine. In the number 89, drops Russ Johnson back to 2nd, Tim Maloney in 3rd. Dave Sprague in 4th, and Doug Shores holding down 5th. Tim Maloney now trying to put a move on the number 19 of Johnson. Looked to the inside, though wasn't quite room enough. Looks to the inside again. Doug Shores trying to get back into the fray with his all-new Ford number 07. A lot of mechanical problems getting that car sorted out. But we're expecting that to be a very competitive car. Doug Shores, a hard charger in the Limited Sportsman Division last year, one of the few Ford competitors, and he was a strong one. Spike Matitol with a strong performance here tonight. We'll see the white flag in the air this time by 1 lap to go as he has stretched out a comfortable lead over the rest of the group. Doug Shore's on the move, trying to take it to the outside of that line, outside of Dake Sprague now. Check it in the air for Spike Matitol. Russ Johnson, Tim Maloney, and side by side, Dave Sprague and Doug Shores. Team still sorting those super sportsmen out. A lot of good teams in this new division, but a very new type of chassis for most of these competitors, and it's been a chore to sort them out. As he coasts down to the start-finish line, nice round of applause, please, for the winner of Super Sportsman, heat number 1, Spike Matitol. Cars are lined up on a handicap system. As drivers and cars accumulate more points, they start further back in the lineup. So at this point in the season, these are the lower point late model sportsman competitors. Flagman Eddie Walsh gives the all clear. Tim Land, Scott Mulkern on the front line. Turn 4, green is out. Side by side across the stripe into turn 1. Advantage on the outside, Mulkern. Scott Mulkern from the outside in the number 79. Also on the move, Gary Johnson in the 53 on the outside as he looks to make a bid to the outside of Tim Land. Barry Babb up the inside now to challenge for that third position beneath the 53 of Gary Johnson. And the number 32, looking for racing room at the back bumper of the 0, is Joe Bowser. Scott Mulkern trying to stretch out a bit of a lead over the rest of the pack. Tim Land doing a nice job of hanging on a second spot. A lot of pressure from Barry Babb, who bids on the outside now. Joe Bowser is going to fill the inside as he races to the back bumper of the 0. Tries a bid on the inside now. Joe Bowser trying to find racing room down on the inside. Gets under Babb out of turn 4, takes over the third position. They'll be approaching the halfway mark next time by. The cross flags in the air. 5 down and 5 to go as they cross the stripe. Leader continues to be Scott Mulkern in the 79. Tim Land in the number 16. Joe Bowser in the 32. Barry Babb in the 0. And Gary Johnson in the 53, a top 5. Problem on the 67 to Corey Sanborn car as he's down over the speed bumps, gets it back underway. Scott Mulkern driving the Larry Netto prepared late model sportsman number 79 appears to have the act together tonight. 2 to go this time by. Scott Mulkern hanging on to about a 3-car length lead over Tim Land, and Land doing a nice job of holding off hard-charging Joe Bowser and Barry Babb. Babb now trying to draw it even once again. White flag in the air, 1 to go. Battle shaping up. 3-way battle for second place, but time's running out as they'll see the checkered flag when they come out of turn 4 this time. First qualifier to Scott Mulkern. Land gets it sideways out of the 4 turn coming across the line. Does a nice job of holding the car straight. Nice round of applause, please, for Scott Mulkern winning qualifying heat number 1 in the late model sportsman division. All clear from the flag stand as the drivers work the backstretch down to turn 3. Lloyd Washburn and Tim Genren on the front line bring the field down, looking for a start at turn 4. Michael D. Walsh asked them to keep it even. Green is out. Side by side, they race to the one turn. Lloyd Washburn to the inside with a slight advantage. Here comes Steve Reno up the inside to challenge for second. Takes over second as they work the 3 and 4 turn. Side by side battle now for third. Danny Bubar in the 24, Tim Gendron in the number 12. Inside row, solid, and that is going to hang Tim Gendron on the outside. No place else to go but try to make that outside groove where it gets way up high now. The 24, Bubar gets the car sideways, does a nice job of collecting it up. Tim Gendron now way out in the third groove. Remember, only 12 cars to qualify from this qualifying heat. Last qualifier at the moment appears to be the number 70 of Jeff Morgan. Lloyd Washburn continues to show the way in the number 60. Steve Reno is second. Danny Bubar third in the number 24. Kevin Jelinas in the 21. And Gordon Nelson in the number 61 are your top 5. Last qualifier, a battle between the 12 and the 78. A lot of top cars here sitting at the rear of this High Point qualifying heat. Number 21 on the move, Kevin Jelinas. And when he looks in his rear view mirror, he'll see his brother, Larry Jelinas, in the number 37. 2 cars on the outside now trying to work their way to the front. The Jelinas brothers in the numbers 21 and 37 as they work the outside groove. A couple of hard charges. Always can be expected to take it to the front if there's any way possible. Working up now to the outside of Danny Bubar is Kevin Jelinas in the 21, followed by Larry Jelinas in the 37. Last qualifying now, a battle between the 34 of Dwight Shepard and the number 80 of Darrell Ward. They'll be approaching the halfway mark. This time by, it'll be 8 down and 7 to go. Remember, only 12 to qualify for the main event. Steve Reno now putting a lot of pressure at the front. Reno trying to find a way around the number 60. So far has not been able to find a clear route. And he has a competitor working hard to his outside in the 24 is Danny Bubar. Still the 34 and the 80 battle for that last qualifying position as the laps wind down. Cars stacked up 2 abreast. Right back from second place. Get together. The 80 and the number 7. Tangled just a little bit. Managed to keep the cars straight. Steve Reno still trying to find room beneath the number 60. Can't quite do it. Lloyd Washburn doing a nice job tonight in that number 60 with a lot of pressure from the rest of these High Point competitors. Last qualifying position now is between the 80 and the number 73. Danny Bubar now from the outside. Cars get sideways in the 3 turn. They have to back out of it. Kevin Jelinas spins it right out of the 4 turn. Steve Reno and Kevin Jelinas tangle in a tough break for 2 hard charges. Exiting turn 4. And both of these drivers will have to try to make it in the consolation event tonight. Obviously the drivers are okay. More concerned about their cars, wondering if there'll be a way to straighten them out and try to come back in the consolation event and be a qualifier for the main event just a bit later. But right now, we're ready to restart qualifying heat number 2. 12 laps down. Danny Bubar now on the point at turn 4. Green is out. Danny Bubar, but he has Larry Jelinas right up the inside. New leader out of turns 1 and 2, Larry Gelinas in the number 37. Also on the move, Dave Fecto in the 78. It will be 2 to go this time by, and the lineup has shuffled around. Larry Gelinas with a strong move right up the inside in the number 37 with a commanding lead. Dave Fecto from the outside. Last qualifying now, a battle between the 111 and the 73. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Last qualifying position is still up for grabs. Pee Wee Knight in the 111 at the moment has it. Current point leader Beaver Norton sitting just outside a qualifying position. Checkered flag in the air. Larry Gelinas, Dave Fecto, Gordon Nelson, Robert Bodwell, and Jeff Morgan, your top 5. Winner of the second qualifying heat of the evening in the limited sportsman division, coast down. Nice round of applause, please, for Larry Gelinas, number 37. Always a hard charger. The green is out. Danny Palmer has a lot of competition working on the outsides. Steve Howard trying to take over the lead from the outside. Side by side, they work the front stretch. Advantage from the outside. Stevie Howard in the 03. He's followed by Richard Bubba Pelton in the 27, trying to draw it even with Danny Palmer now. Then comes the 7 of Kevin Durgan, the 6 of two-time winner Ken McLeod, and the 14, last week's feature winner, Chris Rule. Top point men battling it out, and the cars appear to be becoming more and more competitive with one another as the time wears on and the crews get a little more accustomed to working with this all-new Super Sportsman chassis. Stevie Howard now holding the lead, but only by about a car length over Pelton in the 27. Then a gap back to Danny Palmer in the number 93. And Palmer has a lot of pressure now from last week's feature winner, Chris Rule. They come together coming out of the 2-turn, 3 abreast now, down the backstretch. Chris Rule to the inside, Kevin Durgan to the outside. Winningest driver in this division is Ken McLeod in the number 6. He has already captured 2 feature events, and he has done it in a commanding way. Bubba Pelton now right on the back bumper of Steve Howard. Pelton has also captured a feature here in this new Super Sportsman division. It'll be just 2 to go as they cross the stripe this time. Steve Howard trying to hold off a hard-charging Bubba Pelton in the 27. Chris Rule has 3rd place all to himself. Kevin Durgan in 4th. Ken McLeod has worked his way up to 5th. White flag in the air as they exit turn 4. Steve Howard trying to hold off Pelton in the number 27. Checkered flag in the air. Steve Howard collects the second qualifying heat of the evening, holding off Richard Bubba Pelton in the number 27. Steve Howard from Scarborough, Maine, driving a Buick Century Super Sportsman. Nice round of applause, please, for Steve Howard, winning the second qualifying event of the evening for the Super Sportsman division. The 03 is sponsored by the Brackett Machine Company and Reserve & Sons Towing. Flagman Eddie Walsh on the stand gives the all clear. Looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Paul Johnson, but Pulsifer draws it even as they race to turn 1. Paul Johnson to the inside, Gary Pulsifer to the outside, side by side down the backstretch. They race to turn 3, wheel to wheel. Paul Johnson with the advantage out of turn 4, brings him down to lead lap number 1. Johnson, one of the strongest cars here so far this year, has been impressive each and every week. A very competitive field of High Point late model Sportsman competitors. The 37 now challenges for that second position. Bobby Harrison, a former champion here in the late model Sportsman division, puts a fender up for that second position over Gary Pulsifer. Dropping Pulsifer back to third place. Glenn Cusack fills the 4th spot, and Bobby Libby in the number 34 is in 5th place. Sideways goes the 27 out of turn 4. All the drivers do a nice job of avoiding Gary Pulsifer as the car just got out from under him coming out of turn 4, or at least it looked like it just got out from under him. And all the drivers did a nice job of finding a way around the spinning number 27 of Gary Pulsifer. Once again, Paul Johnson, this time with Bobby Harrison. Green is out. Paul Johnson gets the jump. Cusack right up the inside. Glenn Cusack in the number 2, challenging Bobby Harrison for second. They're side by side. The race is for second. Bobby Libby in 4th, side by side for 5th. Lude and Babb. Halfway point, 5 down, 5 to go. Top competitors looking for racing room. Among them, Mike Johnson, a former champion. Bobby Randall, a 4-time champion here in the number 91, and a 2-time winner already this year. Mike Johnson tucks it right under the rear bumper of the 56 of Andy Lude. Lude gets a little sideways, does a nice job of holding the car, and he's trying to find a way beneath Bobby Libby. Bobby Libby says no way, but gets a little high. Here comes Lude again. 3 wide out of turn 4. Bobby Babb between cars in the number 4 makes it work and slides by the 34 of Bobby Libby. Just 2 to go this time by. Paul Johnson has first place to himself, but it's a side-by-side battle for second. And from 4th on back, it's a tight race. Randall now has Mayetta trying to get under him as he gets by Bobby Babb. White flag in the air out of turn 4. Cars sideways in the 4-turn. Babb is sideways. Contact with the number 3 of Mike Mayetta Jr. Babb appears to be okay, able to drive away from it. Green is still out. Checkered flag in the air for Paul Johnson, capturing qualifying heat number 2. Little sign of how competitive things are going to be tonight, as these late model Sportsman competitors look like they are out for business tonight. Paul Johnson electing to take another cool down lap in the number 35, and he'll bring it around to the start-finish line, capturing a feature event 2 weeks ago. Paul Johnson in the NASCO automotive machine, William Goodman and Sons late model Sportsman. Right now, we're ready to restart tonight's semi-feature. Flagman trying to pick up the pace a little bit. We have Green, Ed Gallant, Ralph Height side by side. Gallant now with some traffic to deal with. Cars out of the pit area. And he will have to thread the needle, and he does in turn 1, along with Kevin Buck in the 25, Ralph Height in the 97. Then comes the 42. 42 is Danny Arnold. Cars spin in the 4-turn. The 99 is backwards in the 4-turn. 2 other cars off over the bank. Everybody stays underway, and we stay green. 99 is Jim Culprit Jr. trying to get the car back underway. Started to move. Came to a stop, and he sits down there off over the 4-turn, evidently unable to refire the car, and that will bring out the caution flag once again. As the 99 of Jim Culprit Jr. sits off over the 4-turn, unable to refire the car after spinning in the 4-turn area. Ready to restart now. Junior Niles points to turn 4, asks the drivers to keep it even. Kevin Buck now on the pole. Ed Gallant to his outside. We have green at turn 4. Kevin Buck right up the inside. Ralph Height trying to follow suit. Height trying to take over second, racing side by side with Ed Gallant. Ed Gallant fights back on the outside, halfway point. Kevin Buck with a rather comfortable lead. The battle is for second. Ed Gallant trying to recapture second from the outside, and it looks like he's going to do it from the outside. Spin in, turn, out of turn 2 down the backstretch. John Maycomber is turned about, does a nice job of collecting the car back up. Another car, 3-way spin in turn 3. Once again, Jim Culprit Jr. involved in that one. Maycomber also in the infield. We have a caution once again. Ready to restart tonight's semi-feature once again. The all clear is given as the cars work through turn 3, looking to turn 4. Kevin Buck and Ed Gallant bring them down. Green is out. Kevin Buck once again. Battle is for second now. The number 42 of Kirk Dean trying to take over second as he does as they get to turn 3 over Ed Gallant. Then comes the 85 of Scott Chapman. Ed Gallant way out, wide out over the stripe. Chapman works up the inside to secure third place. Gary Clough on the move, also in the 0. White flag is in the air. Kevin Buck trying to hold off Kirk Dean. We have a caution and the check-in in the air. Tonight's semi-feature goes to Kevin Buck in the number 25. As he does a nice job of working his way to the front. Holding on from a hard-charging Kirk Dean in the number 42. Kevin Buck coasts down to the start-finish line, ready to collect the hardware from the Mayetta Foundation Company for taking tonight's Limited Sportsman semi-feature event. Flagman Eddie Walsh on the stand gives the all clear as the drivers glance across. only 8 cars, only 8 qualifying spots available for the main event. Turn 4, we have green. Dead heat at the start and finish line. Slight advantage into turn 1. Phil Weeks from the outside. Cars even at turn 2. Dave Field to the inside. Phil Weeks to the outside. Weeks once again with a fender ahead at turn 3. Side by side at turn 4. Slight advantage out of turn 4. Dave Field Jr. brings him down to lead lap number 1. Dave Field hanging on by just about a car length over Phil Weeks. Then comes Tim Gendron in the 12. Kevin Jelinas in the 21. Ron Smith in the 49. Guy Poulin in the 32. Dennis Hall in the 94. And Robbie Dorr in the 23. They are your qualified cars at the moment. Cars get sideways in the 4 turn. Boyd Washburn is the man who loses a lot of ground in that little tangle in the 4 turn. Phil Weeks continues to show the way. Tim Gendron in second. Kevin Jelinas holding on to third. Ron Smith is fourth. And Dave Field fifth. Then comes Robbie Dorr in the 23. Guy Poulin in the 32. And Dennis Hall in the 94. Those are the qualified cars at this moment. Billy Thompson on the move in the number 6, trying to grab a qualifying spot if there's any possible way. Right now he sets 1 position out of a starting spot in the main event. Jimmy Emerson, also strong contender in the 73, trying to grab a qualifying position if he possibly can. Jimmy Emerson, a former modified competitor, driving the number 73. None of these drivers want to sit out Memorial Day Classic. Always a special weekend of racing is Memorial Day weekend. Obviously, all of these competitors want to be in the main event if there's any possible way. Front 4 have pulled away at the halfway point. 8 down and 7 to go as the front 4 have broken away from the rest of the pack. Phil Weeks now with about a 3-car length lead over Tim Gendron. Then Kevin Jelinas in the 21, Ron Smith in the 49. Robbie Dorr has worked his way up to 5th. Dave Field is 6th. Billy Thompson now has come up to 7th. Dennis Hall is 8th. Jimmy Emerson knocking on the door of a qualifying position as he has worked up to 9th place position. Dives to the inside of the number 94, trying to secure that last qualifying position as the laps wind down. 10 complete, 5 to go. Battle for that last qualifying position. Jimmy Emerson slips into 8th position. Dennis Hall right on his bumper. Dave Field gets bumped high. Smoke pours from the number 21 of Kevin Jelinas. Just 2 to go next time by. Phil Weeks continues to show the way in the number 19. Tim Gendron. Smoke continues to pour from the 21 of Kevin Jelinas. Tough night for Kevin Jelinas as he was involved in a crash right here at the start-finish line in the qualifying heat. Now is suffering from mechanical failure. Black flag comes out for the number 21 as they come under the white flag. 1 lap to go. Last qualifying car is the 94 of Dennis Hall. Hall working beneath the 73 of Jimmy Emerson. Checkered flag in the air. Phil Weeks collects the Limited Sportsman consolation event. Unofficially the 73, Jimmy Emerson.
This is certainly a very special night for many of us who've been here at the Speedway for a number of years. As I think all of the regulars here know, that one of the most special races that we've ever had over the years has been the Bobby Bushley Memorial Race. Starting in 1975, there was a memorial race to remember a young man who lost his life racing here at the Speedway. Bobby was a very close personal friend of mine, and I started my racing with his dad, Bob Bushley Sr., so it's a particularly special, has been a particularly special race to me, along with many others who have been here a long time. This race has been associated with the open wheel class here at the Speedway, and because of the fact that there is no longer an open wheel class, the Bushley family has requested that the trophy be given to the family. And that's what we're going to do tonight, is present the Bobby Bushley Memorial Trophy to his daughter, Sandy, the former Sandy Bushley, now Sandy Babb, and her son, Brian, which would be Bobby's grandson. And Sandy, it's just a pleasure to be able to do this. As you know, this has been perhaps the most special race that we've had over the years here at the Speedway. All the drivers who competed, I think it was perhaps one of the goals that every driver had was to hope to have his name engraved on this trophy. And some of the greats are named on the plaque, and I know that it means a great deal to them, and I know it will mean a great deal to you, because your dad meant so much to the folks here at the Speedway. And again, it's just a pleasure to have you here and be able to make this presentation.
Thank you, Bruce. I want to thank Beech Ridge for giving us the trophy, and I know if my dad was still here, he'd still be racing. He'd be awful happy to see Brian liking to come to Beech Ridge every week. Thank you.
Well, Sandy and Brian, the trophy goes to you with the heartfelt thanks of the involvement of the Bushley family, and we know that you'll treasure it just as we treasure the memory of your dad, Bobby. Congratulations again. Andy, back to you.
Thank you, Bruce. And this is our Memorial Day weekend celebration. We'll ask you folks to stand at this time. The Memorial Day weekend at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway has always meant a great deal. It's been a moment where we've taken some time to remember past members of our racing fraternity at this Speedway who are no longer with us and can't be with us any longer. Tonight is especially special, I think, on the heels of a war across half a world away. And I think that we should take this moment to remember some of the people here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway who have been such an integral part of making this a successful speedway, and to remember those who fell in the Persian Gulf War too during the past months. Some of those members who've been with us here at the Speedway and have done so much: Ken Whitey White, Don Kent, Aubrey Bucky Edgecombe, John McCann, Connie Patch, Mike D'Amico Sr., Del Colamy, Leon Clow, Robert Doc Christopher, Ken Wood, Bill Thompson Sr., Everett Bailey, Bob Bushley Jr., and a gentleman who lost his life last year at this Speedway and who we remember this weekend in a very special way, Mr. Kenny Wilkinson Jr. Would you all please join me in a moment of silence now to remember our friends from the past.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as they exit turn 4 and head down the straightaway, please give them a wave off. Tonight, wave your hat, your hand, your handkerchief. Let these drivers know that you're sending them off with your best wishes for a safe race tonight. All clear from flagman Eddie Walsh as the drivers glance to the flag stand. Looking for a start at turn 4. Doug Shore's Tim Maloney. Bring him down. Green is out. Doug Shore's in a quick lead right from the point. Bobby Cotton looking for racing room on the inside. Draws it even with Tim Maloney down into turn 3. Cars stacked up from position 2 right on back. Doug Shores shows the way, working lap number 2 on the backstretch. Spike Matitol on the move on the outside in the number 89 as he looks to the outside of the number 17. Stevie Howard draws it even. No place for Spike Matitol but the outside now. And he is slipping back as Steve Howard takes over 3rd spot. Side-by-side battle back in 5th. Russ Johnson, Tim Maloney side-by-side. High Point men at the back of the pack. Keep your eyes on the number 6 of Ken McLeod. He has been the man to beat here in this new Super Sportsman division. And he appears to be on the move. Coming from the back row now along with Chris Rule. They drive it even now. Working their way up through the pack. Momentarily boxed in now behind the 27 and the 69. Last week's feature winner, number 14. Two-time feature winner in the number 6. Richard Pelton on the move in the number 27. He has also captured a feature event in this new division. Doug Shores opening up about a 4 to 5 car length lead over Steve Howard now. As the Doug Shores crew seems to have sorted out some of those early season problems that they were having with the 07, and they seem to have the car dialed in quite well tonight. We'll get a watch on the 07 here, and problems on the number 1 of Dave Sprague as he appears to be working the car toward pit road. Tough break for the youngster in the number 1 as he takes it behind the pit wall. Bubba Pelton and Bobby Cotton waging a side-by-side battle. Steve Howard has caught up to the back of Doug Shores now. Shores turning in the 16-8 area. And obviously not turning quite as quick as Steve Howard, as Howard has closed up that 5-car length advantage that the 07 enjoyed. And now it's about a 1-car length advantage to Doug Shores in the 07. Chris Rule trying to break free, last week's feature winner, trying to find a way around the 17 of Bobby Cotton. At his back bumper, Ken McLeod in the number 6, looking for racing room right now. He doesn't have any. Chris Rule works his way out and around the 17 of Cotton, opening up the outside lane for Ken McLeod. Time on the 07 appears to have slowed just a little bit, as one would imagine, as the 03 has been able to rein in that 07. And here comes the 27 to make it a three-way battle for that front spot. Steve Howard tries to the inside. No room as he gets shut down. Steve Howard once again right in over the speed bumps, trying to find a lane beneath the 07, and it just isn't there. Hester back out of it. Here comes Pelton to the outside in the 27. Meanwhile, little by little, the 14 and the 6 are closing the gap between that front three and the next two, the 4th and 5th place competitors. Steve Howard now in the outside groove, trying to find a way around the 07. Approaching the halfway mark. Next time by. Side-by-side battle for the 4th spot. Chris Rule to the inside, Ken McLeod to the outside. Doug Shores continues to hold off the two hard chargers at his back bumper. Pelton in the 27, Howard in the 03. Ken McLeod has taken over the 4th spot, working his way around last week's feature winner Chris Rule in the 14. But the lead continues to be in the hands of the Ford, driven by Doug Shores. Problems on the 03 as he takes the car right in over the speed bump. Smoke from the rear of the 07. Tough break for Steve Howard. His mechanical failure takes the 03 right to the apron. And he's limping the car into the infield road at the middle of the backstretch. Ken McLeod on the move. Up the outside. Ken McLeod now draws it even with Bubba Pelton, trying to set up the run at the 07 of Doug Shores. Caution flag comes out as the 03 sits just off the track in a dangerous position. Flagman elects to bring the cars under caution as steam continues to pour from the 03. Well, we are ready to restart. 22 laps down. Doug Shores, Ken McLeod on the front line. Looking for a start at turn 4 is Flagman Eddie Welch. We have green. Doug Shores with the advantage as they race across the stripe to turn 1. Doug Shores on the inside, Ken McLeod to the outside. McLeod on the move now. Racing to turn 3, new leader Ken McLeod. In the number 6, Doug Shores now in a battle with Chris Rule and Richard Pelton in the 27. Ken McLeod once again demonstrating the strength of his number 6 as he comes all the way from the back row to take over the lead on lap number 22. And now the battle is for second, and it's a three-way battle. Doug Shores, Bubba Pelton, Chris Rule, almost 3 abreast out of turn 2. Pelton has to back out of it just a little bit. Now he's looking for racing room on the inside once again, and he gets it. Chris Rule goes way wide coming out of 4, opening up the inside. Danny Palmer takes the 93 on pit road. And once again, the number 6 of Ken McLeod demonstrating that he has the combination like no one else. Took him just 22 laps to work his way from the very back of the pack to the front, and now he has stretched out about a half straightaway lead over the second place contender, Doug Shores in the 07. Richard Pelton in the 27, Chris Rule in the 14. Here comes Kevin Durgan up the outside. Kevin Durgan getting into the fray along with Spike Manitoul as they battle for 5th place. Kevin Durgan, hard charging, limited sportsman, former champion, getting the number 7 dialed in and working, and he is working the outside of this line, starting from second right on back to 5th. Laps winding down. It'll be just 5 to go. Is the time for Kevin Durgan to make the pass up the outside, trying to make a bid to the outside of the number 14. Goes way wide out of turn 4. Spike Manitoul fights back on the inside. Can't quite draw it even. Now the side-by-side battle is for 3rd. Chris Rule to the inside. Bubba Pelton to the outside. Side-by-side battle for 3rd. Chris Rule right at the back bumper of the 07 of Doug Shores. Now dives to the inside of the 07. No room. As Shores slams the door. Keeps that 07 right down on the rail. Says, gentlemen, if you're going to go by, you're going to do it on the outside. It'll be just 2 to go. Ken McLeod with a commanding lead. Full straightaway lead now as he enters turn 3. The others are coming out of turn 2. He'll see 2 to go, looking to capture his 3rd feature event in the 1991 season. Pelton now to the outside of Doug Shores. Knowing he has just 2 laps to make the move, Richard Bubba Pelton is on the move. Trying to find a way to draw it even. White flag is out with Doug Shores. Shores holding it right on the rail, requiring the rest of the drivers to try to make their way around the outside if they're going to get by. Checkered flag flies for Ken McLeod, collecting feature event number 3. Doug Shores holds on a 2nd. Chris Rule. And we'll wait for the 14 is on the leaderboard as capturing 3rd place. Ken McLeod coasts down to collect up the colors. He'll make his parade lap and be back once again to be in victory lane with a checkered flag, and it's checkered flag number 3. Ken McLeod driving a 1990 Pontiac Grand Prix. Car is owned by Spanky Anderson. Sponsored by Jansen Service Center, Ace Hardware, Jim's Auto Parts, Hobbies Plus, Southern Maine Signs, and Jansen's Auto Body. He returns the colors to flagman Eddie Walsh, and definitely the man to meet. And we'll go trackside now to Andy Cusack. Andy?
Thank you, Bruce. Ken McLeod, come on over here. A nice round of applause for a man who's now taken 3 out of 5 in the Super Sportsman. Congratulations, Ken. A nice run tonight.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Kind of looked for a while like you might get stuck back there running with Kevin Durgan, sorting yourself out. Then all of a sudden you were there. Was there a big break for you?
Yeah, once a lot of the drivers tucked on the inside, the car was going good outside, so I was able to move up.
What do you do once you get out front? We had to be watching you from in the grandstand. You get out front, and it was obvious that here came win number 3 for Ken McLeod. Do you ever feather back, or is this going for broke the rest of the way?
Well, I don't drive quite as hard. I just hold my inside groove there and just try to keep her in one piece.
Well, I tell you, we could talk all night with you. We've got a track chat coming up soon. We'll get a real chance to talk with you and find out what's going on with Ken McLeod this year. But we've got to save some because I have a feeling you're going to be back here a number more times. So Tommy Mayetta from the Mayetta Foundation Company and Mr. Goodwrench himself, young Justin Mayetta, have the present. That's Dale Earnhardt, young Dale Earnhardt right there. Have the presentation for you. Tommy?
Congratulations on behalf of Mayetta Foundation for this trophy.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. That's nice.
Justin's not real big on words. Someday he'll, like you, Ken, someday he'll grow up and either drive a car or do this job, one or the other. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a nice round of applause for 3 wins out of 5 and Ken McLeod.
35 laps on tap. All clear from flagman Eddie Walsh. Richard Olin, Gary Adams bring them down. We have green. Slight advantage to the 74, but Richard Olin right back to take the advantage in the 1 and 2 turn. Richard Olin with the advantage looking down into turn 3. Gary Adams fighting back on the outside. Olin brings him down to lead lap 1. Still has a strong bid from Gary Adams. Cars tangle out of turn 4. Everybody keeps it straight. Robbie Dorr takes the 23 right on pit road. Tough break for the youngster. Just completing lap 1 skirmish in turns 3 and 4. Cars out of shape. The 88 of Mike Field down in against the infield banking. And he's going to try to keep it going. Looks like the 94 of Dennis Hall also on pit road. Scramble up front. Richard Olin with a lot of pressure from Steve Winslow. Gary Adams still battling on the outside. Gene Terrio trying to fill that third spot, and he does out of the 2-turn down the backstretch. Ed Strong in the 104 holds down position 5. Side-by-side battle for 6. Verrill and Driscoll. Then comes Phil Weber and Don Tapley. That front group is broken away from the rest of the pack. First 11 cars have broken away, put some distance on Al Roberts, Tim Gendron, Gordon Nelson heading up the rest of the pack. Larry Gelina sets the car right out in the third groove, momentarily loses some ground, but we saw what he did in the qualifying heat. Keep your eyes on that number 37. Yes, Larry Gelina has a lot of ground to make up if he's going to do the same thing he did in the qualifying heat. And right now he's trying to do it the hard way. Out there in the third groove, working to the outside of Dwight Shepard, veteran competitor. Continue 3 abreast racing through turns 1 and 2 with Larry Gelina continuing to run out there in that third groove, trying to make a way up to the front. Gene Terrio now to the inside of Steve Winslow, trying to take over second. They're in a side-by-side battle for second. Slight advantage to Terrio now. Richard Olin continues to be your leader in the 69. Gene Terrio is second. Steve Winslow third. Gary Adams is fourth. Paul Driscoll. Ed Strong tangle. Strong gets the car sideways, gets it back, but in the process loses a lot of ground, as does Phil Weber, as he had to get into the brakes as the 104 went out of shape. Caution flag is out. We have a car across the track in the 2-turn. Looks like the 73 of Jimmy Emerson. Jimmy Emerson unable to refire the car after spinning in the 2-turn area, brings out the caution flag. Looking for a start as they exit turn 4. Green is out. Richard Olin from the inside with a slight advantage. Steve Winslow trying to make a bid to the inside of the number 41. Winslow trying to draw it even with Gene Terrio. Terrio trying to find a way to challenge the 69. 10 on the 41. Trade paint just a little bit. And Winslow has the second place to himself right now. Paul Driscoll knocking on the back bumper. 63 of Al Roberts out of shape, but he does a nice job of holding the car straight. Robert Bodwell again A little tangle there in the 1 and 2 turn, but he holds it. Richard Olin doing a nice job. A lot of pressure from Steve Winslow, Paul Driscoll, Rick Verrill, Gene Theriault, Gary Adams now up into that front half dozen. Paul Driscoll goes way wide. Theriault goes way wide. Cars tangle. Al Roberts turned about in the 1 turn. Up on the sand pile. He keeps it moving. We stay green. Richard Olin continues to hold on. Steve Winslow now tangles with Rick Verrill, and he's out over the 1 turn. As Verrill and Winslow come together, Winslow is taken from second to last, or next to last. Winslow is an unhappy camper, I am sure, right now. Leader continues to be the 69, but a lot of pressure from Rick Verrill. Verrill has the inside now, muscles his way under Olin in the 69. Gary Adams follows suit. Here comes Paul Driscoll. As Richard Olin gets hung on the outside, here comes Tim Gendron, Dennis Quinn, flagman indicates it will be the halfway point as they cross the stripe this time. Problems on the 73 of Emerson as a shower of sparks come from beneath the 73 of Jimmy Emerson. Tangle in turn 4, cars going everywhere. And we are under caution once again. We could see that coming as the sparks were showering from beneath the 73 of Jimmy Emerson. But right now, with 17 laps down, flagman Eddie Walsh signals all clear to the drivers as they glance across to the flag stand. Pace car makes its way onto the infield pit road. Flagman points to turn 4. Ready for a start. Rick Verrill on the point. Green is out. Rick Verrill leads him down into turn 1. As Paul Driscoll at the back bumper. Gary Adams working to the outside in the number 74. A lot of hard charges still back in the pack. Halfway point this time by. 18 down, 17 to go. Rick Verrill continues to show the way. Side-by-side battle now for second. Paul Driscoll to the inside. Gary Adams to the outside. Dennis Quinn sitting in 4th spot. Darrell Ward in 5th. Strong run by Paul Driscoll to the inside and Gary Adams to the outside. Adams sideways in turn 4. Has to back out of it just a little bit. Here comes Dennis Quinn up to challenge on the inside. Getting out of shape just a little bit. Cost Gary Adams 2 positions, just like that. He's back now in a side-by-side battle for 5th. Paul Driscoll with a lot of pressure now at the back bumper of Rick Verrill. Verrill continues to hold the point. Driscoll right in the back bumper. Dwight Shepard on the move in the number 34 as he works to the outside of Robert Bodwell in the 56. Gary Adams now in the 3rd groove, tangles with Shepard. Does a nice job of holding the car. We are under caution once again, skirmishing turn 4. The 49 of Ron Smith, the 15 of Don Tapley Jr. And we are ready to look for green once again. Rick Verrill to the inside, Paul Driscoll to the outside, bring them down to turn 4. We have green. Paul Driscoll from the outside jumps from the outside front row right into the lead. Nice move by Driscoll in the 45 to take over the lead. Battle is for second now. Verrill trying to hold on a second. Has Darrell Ward way outside now. Dennis Quinn to the inside. 3 abreast racing in the one turn. Tangle, Dave Fecto into the infield. Up against the sandbanking. Backs away. He appears to be underway. We stay green. Tangle off over turn 4. It looked like Donnie Morris in the 75. The 74, Gary Adams also out over the top of turns 3 and 4. Dwight Shepard on the move. Flat tire, flat right rear tire on the Gary Adams car. Donnie Morris, hard hit in the passenger side. Dwight Shepard has made up a lot of ground in the number 34. Caution flag once again as we have cars out of shape in turn 4. "26 laps on the board, and we are under caution once again. Flagman Eddie Welch signals all clear as the drivers glance over from the backstretch. Preparation to look for a start at turn 4. Driscoll to the inside, Verrill to the outside. They've reversed starting positions. Bring the field down to turn 4. Green is out. Paul Driscoll once again. Dwight Shepard tangles with the 64. Cars get hooked together. Pee Wee Knight all the way from back of the pack. Up now to challenge at the front. At the back bumper of Paul Driscoll. Pee Wee Knight, who was runner-up in the 1990 season, now looking for a way-around race leader, Paul Driscoll. Pee Wee Knight looks to the outside as they race to turn 3. 21 of Kevin Gelinas sits up the top of turn 4. Unable to refire the number 21, and that will bring the caution out one more time. All clear once again from the flag stand. Driscoll to the inside, Knight to the outside. Looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Driscoll with a slight advantage into turn 1. Just 5 laps to go this time by. Paul Driscoll doing a nice job of holding off the veteran campaigner in the 111 Pee Wee Knight. They put some distance on the rest of the pack. Side-by-side battle for third. Rick Barrel to the inside. Dwight Shepard to the outside. Beaver Norton up to fifth, looking for racing room. Sits at the back bumper of the Barrel and Shepard. Side-by-side battle. Just 2 to go this time by. If Pee Wee Knight is going to do it, he has just 2 laps in which to find a way around the number 45. Making a bid on the outside, the 111 of Knight. White flag in the air still. Paul Driscoll showing the way. Pee Wee Knight trying to find a way around that 45 that has been so strong tonight. Knight looks to the outside once again into turn 3. Checkered flag in the air. Paul Driscoll in the 45. Pee Wee Knight, Rick Verrill, Dwight Shepard, and Beaver Norton are your top 5. He coasts down to collect up the colors. Got to be a happy young man tonight. Paul Driscoll returns the colors to flagman Eddie Walsh.
Paul Driscoll out of Scarborough, Maine. Paul, congratulations. You're all smiles and all laughs. You look like you were just having a great time out there.
Yeah, I'm not really prepared for this, but yeah, it feels great. We put a lot of work into it the last couple of weeks. We had to get some new parts and stuff, and then get paid off.
How long have you been racing cars now with us, Paul?
This is my 4th year in racing.
I'll tell you, I know this means more to you than probably anything so far. This is your first career feature win. You've had a semi-feature win, and I'll tell you, tonight you held off the best. You're to be commended. What were you thinking those final couple laps? Pee Wee Knight's running out beside you.
Well, Pee Wee's one of those people that I watch every week, and I know he's got what it takes to win, and I just don't know how I beat him. I don't think the outside groove was working too good tonight. Wasn't for me, anyway.
Well, I'll tell you what was. The inside, and you've got a trophy coming to you. Tommy Mayetta from the Mayetta Foundation Company has the presentation for you. And if you ever picked a nice night to win, tonight's the night. The Mayetta trophies are some of the most coveted that any of the drivers take away from here. And I would like you to meet young Justin Mayetta and Tommy Mayetta from Mayetta Foundation. Tommy?
Yeah, from Mayetta Foundation, congratulations on this trophy.
Very much. Thank you. If it wasn't for you and all the sponsors, this just wouldn't happen. If I had time, I'd like to thank my sponsors. I'd like to thank Country Comics. All right, customers. I'd like to thank American Northeast Glass, Stevenson Wall Covering, the Family Patch, Black Bear Trading Post, Route 202 Auto Body, and Gorham Auto Parts. And I hope I didn't forget anybody.
Paul, you remind us of the fun that drivers have out here, and we congratulate you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a nice round of applause for Paul Driscoll.
Side-by-side battle at the front. Scott Mulkern with a slight advantage. Bruce Rice working out. Tangle out of turn 2 on the backstretch. Billy Childs around. He took a hard hit, and that brings out the caution. Being pushed on the pit road is Mike Nicholson, a visiting late model. All clear from the flag stand. Lights are out on the pace car, indicating we should be ready to look for green. The number 4 of Bobby Babb back out of the pit area will rejoin the lineup after some quick repairs by the Babb crew on pit road. Pace car makes its way onto the infield pit road, and we are ready to look to start. Restart once again. Green is out. Side by side, they race the front stretch to turn 1. Scott Mulkern to the inside, Bruce Rice to the outside. Barry Babb looking for racing room on the inside. Babb trying to get under the 15 of Rice, and he does. Tries to draw it even. Side by side battle shaping up for second. Slight advantage to Rice from the outside. Battle is for second. Barry Babb to the inside. Battling side by side. Has the advantage now by almost a car length over Bruce Rice on the outside. Rice battles back. But second place to Babb. Gary Johnson up the inside now to challenge Rice for third. Paul Johnson on the outside. Joe Bowser working his way up the inside. 3 wide down the front stretch. Paul Johnson right up the middle. Meanwhile, Scott Mulkern stretching out a lead over Barry Babb. Mulkern with a 5 to 6 car length lead. Paul Johnson on the move. Spin by Pulsifer. Gets the car back underway. We stay green. Bruce Rice spins it in the 2-turn. Occupied the front row now. Gets the car underway. Turns it onto the pit road. Tough break for Bruce Rice. Meanwhile, up front, Scott Mulkern still holding advantage over Barry Babb and Paul Johnson. Paul Johnson trying to make a bid to the outside of Barry Babb now. Side-by-side battle is for second. Babb to the inside, Johnson to the outside. Advantage at the stripe to Johnson. Paul Johnson takes over second place. Dropping Babb back to third. Side-by-side battle for fourth, Gary Johnson and Bobby Harrison. Bowser works his way out and around Gary Johnson, followed by Andy Cusack. Paul Johnson trying to find a way around the 79 of Scott Mulkern. Right at the back bumper. Tried beneath the 79, couldn't quite find the room. Side-by-side battle also for third. Bobby Harrison now trying to work out and around Barry Babb. Harrison takes third position. Paul Johnson draws it even with Mulkern as McCurlin goes a little wide. New leader Paul Johnson in the number 35. Harrison now trying to take over second, working to the outside of Scott Mulkern. Bobby Harrison in the 37 takes over second, working in lap number 17. They'll be approaching the halfway mark. One more lap. Bobby Harrison trying to rein in race leader Paul Johnson. Battle shaping up for third as Glenn Cusack and Bobby Randall make a run at the 79 of Scott Mulkern. Randall up the inside, gets beneath the number 2 of Cusack and sets his sights on Scott Mulkern. Bobby Harrison closing the gap between himself and race leader Paul Johnson little by little. Johnson coming on us some pretty heavy traffic, and this could change things around. Johnson will have to be cautious, giving Bobby Harrison the chance to close it up. Spark shower from the number 4 of Bobby Babb as something goes in the left front suspension, and the number 4 grinds to a halt up off from top of turns 1 and 2, and that will bring out the caution flag once again. Four former champions sit in the first 3 rows. A lot of pressure on race leader Paul Johnson. The all clear from flagman Eddie Walsh as they cruise the backstretch to turn 3. Looking for a start at turn 4. Paul Johnson, Bobby Harrison. Green is out. Good jump at the start by Paul Johnson. Has that front row to himself now once again. Glenn Cusack right up the inside to challenge Bobby Harrison. Mike Johnson and Bobby Randall filling the 3rd row. Battle is for second. Cusack to the inside. Bobby Harrison to the outside. Harrison works his way out and around the number 2. The 2 fights back on the inside. Harrison trying to close the door, can't quite do it. It will be 5 to go as they cross the stripe. 30 down and 5 to go. Battle is for second and third and fourth as cars are stacked up side by side. Side by side battle for second, side by side battle for third. Glenn Cusack with the advantage now on the inside. Mike Johnson tries to follow suit. Can't quite do it. Harrison fills the inside lane. It will be just 2 laps to go next time by. Paul Johnson with about a 3-car length lead over Glenn Cusack. Battle side by side back in the pack. Mike Johnson, Bobby Randall, 2 former champions, battling for 4th place position. Johnson to the inside, Randall to the outside. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Randall trying to take over fourth. As they get into turn 3, Mike Johnson's right back on the inside. Checkered flag in the air, Paul Johnson. Glenn Cusack. Bobby Harrison. Bobby Randall. And Mike Johnson. Paul Johnson coasts down to collect the colors from Flagman Eddie Walsh. He'll make his parade lap. Second feature event of the year for Paul Johnson, driving a Buick Regal. The car is sponsored by Claire Buick Volkswagen, NASCO Machine, along with Superior Sign, Rab Distributors, Smith's General Store, Future Incorporated, and Ray Melanson Carpet. Paul Johnson serving notice opening day here with the running of the Coca-Cola 100 on the American Canadian Tour, and he was going to be a tough contender. Young man started 34th in that American Canadian Tour event and worked his way all the way to 4th place.
Paul, congratulations. A great race tonight.
Thank you, Andy. We had a real good start spot, and there's a real tough crew out here. I tell you, winning one of these, you got to work for it. You got a lot of cars that are really running strong, and we're really thankful we hung in there tonight to come up with this one. So I want to thank my crew and my sponsors. They've been sticking right with us, and we got the car going pretty good. Tonight wasn't quite as good as we had been, but I guess it was just enough.
The class is a very competitive class to race in, and you made it look easy tonight. Once you got a couple of breaks, we could see that you were going for it, and it looked as though you'd be one of the ones to beat tonight.
Yeah, I knew starting about halfway back, we had to get there before everybody else did. That's the way it is. You got to get there before the next guy, and we were lucky enough to do it tonight.
A great strategy and a fine job. Tonight's late model Sportsman race is the designated Maine State Stock Car Racing Association Deceased Officials Tribute in memoriam of those past officials, drivers that have been with us. Kenny Wilkinson comes to mind, Bob Bushley Jr., Paul Forrest, Don Kent, a number of great officials and drivers who've been with us in the past, and I know it will be an honor for you to have your name inscribed here with a plaque that the president of the Maine State Stock Car Racing Association, Louis Maeda, is holding. Louis?
Well, congratulations to add your name to a very good list of people, and you're definitely one of them.
Thank you. I just want to tell everybody it's an honor that, our family's been out here for a number of years, and we've been a family member of Beech Ridge for a number of years, and I take it an honor to have our name placed on there with that.
It is a very great honor. Tommy Maeda from the Maeda Foundation Company has the laurels that you will take home with you this evening. And a young man that's happy to meet you. Tommy Maeda with the presentation. Tommy?
Congratulations, Paul. On behalf of the Foundation, I present you this trophy.
Thank you, Tommy. Hey, I tell you, I always like to see when Maeda Foundation sponsors it. These things are really nice. I tell you, I take them home and I really cherish this. Thanks.
And Paul, also a final award tonight as we laden you down with gifts, a $50 gift contingency from Big A Auto Parts for the late model Sportsman division tonight.
Very good, Andy. Thank you. We can use it. There's always something we can come up with to put on the car we need, so that can come in handy. Thank you.
You're welcome, Paul, and we thank you again. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for our top 3 finishers and Paul Johnson.
Looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. 37 at 84. Chuck Willoughby working on the outside. The 37 is Tim Johnson. Johnson and Willoughby tangle in the 4-turn. Track wasn't wide enough for some of these guys. Tangle on the backstretch. And we are under yellow. Everyone trying to get underway. Green flag is up once again. Chuck Willoughby right from the pole. Jumps in a little quickly. He's followed by the 37 and the 30. 37 once again, Tim Johnson. The 30, John Richardson. John Richardson on the move in the number 30 as he makes a bid to the outside of the number 84. On the outside, the number 30 of John Richardson, dropping Willoughby back to second. Then in third place, the 37. Tim Johnson with a challenger now to his outside. The number 4 is Michael Wesker. Caution flag once again. Chuck Willoughby, this time in a battle with the number 9, driven by Wayne Spencer. But Willoughby takes the point, spin in the 3-turn. Cars piled up at the entrance to the infield pit road. Most of the cars seem to be backing away from that car. Upside down in turn 1. Red flag is out. Safety crew there to assist the driver. We'll give you a report just as quickly as we have it. Driver is okay. That is the number 28, Tony Chick. And he indicates to the safety crew that he is okay. And you can see him walking away there as the safety crew gets the car back on the wheels. Safety man took care of that right at the time the car started to roll. So cars will be held under caution. Now followed by a green flag. Trying to retake the lead as he works beneath the 68. Cars get sideways in the 1 and 2 turn. Leader is the number 30 of John Richardson. 63 on the move. The 63 is driven by Steve Clough. The 68 is Fred Yerkser. But the number 30 continues to show the way. Comfortable lead for John Richardson, followed by the 63 of Steve Clough. Leader continues to be John Richardson in the number 30. The 63 is gradually closing in. That's Steve Clough. Put up on the 61. Just make it a little greater challenge. That 61 is driven by Larry McDonald. Spin in the 3-turn once again. Looks like the 74. That 74 is driven by Joseph Prelitz. It'll be just 2 laps to go next time around. Flat tire on the number 51. Working the last 2 laps. Number 63, unofficially the leader. 63, Steve Clough. He has a strong challenge from the number 8. That's Chris Brown. Car spun facing traffic in the 2-turn. He finally gets the car underway. Checkered flag out. Number 6 or number 63. We'll wait for an official word on that. The 6 is Dennis Smith. It was either the number 6 or the 63. It's either Steve Clough or Dennis Smith. Scoring indicates that the number 6 of Dennis Smith crossed the line first, and he'll be coasting down to pick up a flag from flagman Eddie Walsh. Dennis Smith out of Hollis, Maine. Collecting the B feature of the Wildcat division. If you're headed home, we'll urge you to please drive carefully. We hope that you'll make it a habit to be right back here with us each and every Saturday night for stock car racing at its very best at one of New England's premier short tracks, Beech Ridge Motor Speedway. If you'd like to stay around for a bit, you're certainly welcome to do so. A number of the competitors will bring their cars right out here on the front stretch, and you can have an opportunity to go down and speak with the drivers, look the cars over if you'd like to.